Aloha, Amazon customers. This is Terry Edmonds coming to you from my shoe store, If the Shoe Fits, in Maui, Hawaii. Today I'm doing a video. For those of you that don't know me, I am a cobbler, a shoe designer, and an entrepreneur. I have been in the shoe business for over 20 years, and my specialty is helping people with hard to fit feet. And if you found this video, I'm guessing that's you. So just a quick history before I help guide you through this shopping process is, when I started designing shoes, it was for people with big feet. And this is an example. Look at the size of that shoe. These are for ladies. So this was the original pattern that I used to design my concept. And I think the largest size that we did for the gals went up to a size 16. And I have one gal that's just so wonderful. I traced her foot. I was trying to find it before this video today, but I just wanted to share with you my empathy for those of you that are having trouble finding your own shoes. Let me just do this here. Okay, so what I really love is that Amazon's offering all of these things from the comfort of your own home, and this is a great time to do it. Like myself, it is hard to buy things that are, when you're unguided, you don't know the fit. And so anyway, here we are. We're here with me, Terry Edmonds, shoe specialist. All right. So I'm actually also, since I'm a cobbler, I also am a shoe repairer. I live on the island of Maui. I am the island's only shoe repairer. And out here, our clients have big feet. I mean, in general, the sizes are 11 to 13. So you can imagine, and the shoe industry is just behind the times on that. I will end up catching up and doing a video on good wide sizes that are offered through Amazon as well. And that'll be for another video. But for today, it's about how to stretch your shoes. I did a video with the cobbler thing. I am actually going to I'm going to walk through a couple of how to stretch shoes yourself at home. And the tools that you see listed down below are perfect for you at home do-it-yourselfers. So let's just go ahead and get started. What do you say? I'm going to start with some of the supplies that you're seeing there, and we're going to touch base on all of those today. So one of the big ones is this really great machine. So there are different ways to stretch a shoe. There's the width of the shoe, and then there's also the length of the shoe. So this machine is wonderful, and usually most of the cobblers have this machine at their office, like myself. And there's also a taller one that does boots. But this machine is so cool, we're actually going to use it today. And we'll start with this one. This is a Peloton. This is a bicycle shoe. And they tend to make these bicycle shoes really narrow. You can see it's pretty narrow, especially if you've got a big square foot. I would say most people that have wide feet have square feet. It looks like a duck. I'm not kidding. It's narrow on the bottom and wide on the top. That's pretty typical. That's what our feet usually look like. And then we cramp them into these little shoes. So this one, of course, needs more stretching. I did a video on my YouTube channel, Terry Edmonds, about shoe stretching, and it covers the whole gambit of shoe stretching. And this one here is a good one because it's a synthetic. It's not really a leather, it's a plastic. So this wonderful machine, you'll see it listed on the Amazon. I'll actually point it out to you. I'll scroll for you guys here. Here we go. I'm going to highlight it. It's this, this mine's from Jet Set. This product here is the Dongi's Unisex shoe stretcher. So they all come with these special little parts. Okay, this is the men's. We'll use the men's shoe stretcher. And if you end up buying this for yourself, the person that I recommend this to is the one that, okay, for example, I had a client write in. She's a size 11 and a half, But in most women's shoes, they only go up to an 11 and then they skip and go all the way up to 12. So she's kind of in this weird spot there. And she asked in her question, does this work enough that she could start buying size 11 shoes and make them work for her feet? And I would say in some instances, yes, depending on the type of fabric. So if it's a leather shoe, I'd say, yeah, you probably have a good chance of it. But in general, a lot of companies are going with synthetics, something like this here. It's a synthetic shoe, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to stretch it today. But, so much of this stuff can't really be stretched. So I think Amazon's prices change. Right now it's like around 180, but it could change. So I think on the mainland, I'm in Hawaii, so the cost of shipping is a bit more, but if you're on the mainland, I think you could probably get this pretty affordably. Anyway, so let's go ahead. This has this little piece. I'm going to show you how to use it because once you get it at home, you're going to want to know how to use it. And so that slides on there. You put this little bar across there, and I'm going to go ahead and slip the shoe right on here. Okay, and the back goes in there. So now I've got two measurements. I can measure, I can widen. This one widens the front. It opens the shoe like that. So I'm going to do that first just to kind of hold it in place a little bit. It's so easy. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the back. So now the back, I'm actually going to adjust this so that this piece is going to open up, as you'll see. And you want to do that so we can get a really tight, firm hold on this, because what I do with synthetic shoes is I use a blow dryer. Well, I actually use a heat gun, but I think for the do-it-yourselfers at home, you could use a blow dryer. It actually is less hot as the heat gun, so it gives you a little bit more control while you're getting used to how to do this. And there we go. It's pretty tight. So I can feel it up in here. It's giving me a tight tug right here, so I can feel that. Make sure that you guys on Amazon can see me. I got YouTube here too, my friends on YouTube. So, all right, so here we are. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up more, and it seems like you'd wanna just, hey, I really need this stretch, let me just stretch it. Well, if you overdo it on the first run out of the gate, you could pop the shoe from the sole, and then now you're dealing with trying to re-sole it or re-glue it. So I like to go just a little at a time, and I actually was hesitant to use the blow dryer, and I'm a pro. I've been doing this for a long time. And I had a friend that used to work at a ski resort, and he said that, those big plastic boots, that they did a lot of this there. So I've experimented over time, and it's doable. I just say proceed with caution. And I'm actually starting you with this advanced shoe stretching, because this is like the ultimate maximum you could go is getting one of these machines for your home. And I think if you are a bigger gal or a bigger guy with a big foot, hey, it might be worth it to invest in one of these. This one's backed up all the time here because I only have one and everybody needs it. So I've got a professional heat gun, and I like to maintain a good 12 inches away from the surface of this material. And I just can feel it heating up. Okay, it's nice and hot. I'm going to very, very carefully apply some heat to this. The beauty is it is plastic. And I actually used this skill when I used to sell those clear lucite dance shoes. They also heat up, but I can tell this is a nice soft rubber plastic material. It's going to stretch nicely. All right, so again, I'm just kind of far away. It's not enough to burn my hands, so I'm not going to burn the shoe. All right, there we go. And I'm going to let that set overnight, probably, and let it cool off, and let it cool off in this position. I could even just give it a little more stretch. Okay, there we go. So that's nice. I love this machine. So this wasn't so bad. It's still warm. Okay, so be careful. This would be the next item that you would want to use like a machine like this on. But instead of buying this more expensive machine, which I still think is affordable if you've got foot problems, I'm going to demonstrate my other machine. So this is something that I've put in the link down below, the Amazon shopping list. Are one of these. They're just so simple, you know. It's just this is a length, so it opens lengthwise here, and then it opens widthwise here. And I'm going to do that on this shoe. I usually do this machine because it's nice. It just sets there for me and I can manipulate the dryer on it. But for you guys, I want to just show you one of these because these are so affordable. It's crazy. Tighten it up a little bit. And really getting that. See, I'm getting that right in there. And I want to get this heel in there. Let's see. You know, I think, yeah, there we go. Let's try this. All right, you know, I'm gonna use this anyway. Well, actually, I'm gonna skip this one because I think this stretcher is a little bit too big for the length of this shoe. So the idea is the same though, okay? For now, I'm gonna skip this one, but it's the same idea, length and width. Let's go ahead and move to a classic shoe stretcher. I love these. I've had these forever. I bought them when I bought the business, and they're just really old school, heavy. And I've put a link to this also in the Amazon connection because it is a heavy duty, nice metal, super sturdy. Like I said, this is so old. Gosh, I think these are at least 30 years old, but they still make stuff like this. So as you see, I put it in the shoe, and this is how I do most shoe stretching. And again, the trick is I'm holding it in place, and I just wanna, I can feel it's getting a little bit taut. So I'm tightening it up there, and that's pretty good. Yeah, that feels pretty good. So I'll show you here. As you can see, it's like really firm. There's no extra give up in here, so it's nice and firm. And now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be, this is where you proceed with caution. This material and some of the other mesh nettings are super light, but also not very durable in the sense of applying heat to them. So I'm gonna be very careful about it. And again, I can feel the heat. That's pretty good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just lightly apply it to the top of the shoe. Especially around the bunions. I don't know about the rest of you, but if you've worn ill-fitting shoes or those high-heel pumps, and over the years you realize that you get some bunions. So this is really good for that. Okay, it's a light fabric, so I'm gonna go easy. And at my shop, I offer free restretch just in case the first time wasn't enough, because once you overdo it, you cannot make a shoe smaller, okay? So little at a time, have some patience, and if you've bought the item anyway, you've got it at your house, so you'll be able to access it whenever you need. Okay, we're gonna go on to another one. This is a pretty, you know, classic, normal shoe here. And it's just a little bit too tight in the front here, just on this one side. So this happened to be a shoe stretcher that I used on this tennis shoe, kind of flat. See, it really follows the contour of the shoe, just flat. But since this is a woman's high heel shoe, we have some other options, and I made this option available for you guys. It is called the Money's Worth Best, not that one, the Foot Fitter Premium in the metal. That's a really good one. It's sturdy. I felt like, you know, you can get the wood ones, which are great. This little plastic one here, it's all right if you don't do a lot of stretching. I probably bump up the quality a bit if you're gonna do a lot of stretching. Really invest, like I was showing you, these wood handles are just really awesome. You guys can see those. So I'm going into the high heel. I'm looking for something that kind of matches the angle of the shoe, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. And I'm closing it before I put it all the way in there. Like that. See how nicely? Boy, that just fits right inside there. Fantastic. And I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. Voila. So very easy to use, and again, I like to do it a little at a time. Some shoes that if they're older and the glue's old in the shoe, it will come unglued. So just really keep an eye on it while you're using it. So remember, the one that I'm recommending is the Foot Fitter Premium. That's there on that shopping list. All right, that's pretty good. Well, I'm gonna do it a little bit more because she really said that the shoe needed to be stretched. So there we go. Can't hurt it, right? There we go. Now, I'm gonna show you something else that most of these shoe stretchers, it comes in the box, okay? So for instance, this is what a package would look like. You know, they come in these boxes, and I'll just open one up because this is really fantastic. So most shoe stretchers, if you notice, a lot of these have these holes all over them, right? So let's say you've got a problem. Let's say you've got a bunion happening right on the side of your foot, okay, on the inside. And I would just take this, you put these little metal plugs inside like that. And now, if I were to open up the shoe, they are so nice. They just, let's go. All right. Okay, so you get the idea, right? I actually have people that have either the bunion is poked out or the side of the pinky toe rubs, and these are great for that. They really, really work. I love them. Now let's take it to the extreme. Let's say that you've got a really bad bunion, you know, maybe one where, and some of you will relate to this, where maybe your toes cross because let's say this is your foot and your toes have been doing this, right? They kind of twist over, so these end up crossing over and you have a big knot that you're trying to deal with. And these are great. Like you can see, it's got something on the top of the wood form that you could use that would help build that and maybe apply some more heat to it. But I like this other tool and I use it so much that I decided to put it on your shopping list there. And this is the ring, it's called the hook, poke, and ball ring. So let's do an example here. This gal here, we're going to be stretching these. We're using a different type of a stretcher, but for now I'm just going to use it for demonstration. So you put the ball side into the item, and as you can see, look at that. Oh my gosh, it just makes this very big kind of a bulge on the shoe. And after a while, let's say I've had it on there for a day. Then you take it off and you'll see an actual like ball and ring mark. But once you put your foot in, that all kind of stretches out. So it does hold it holds the stretch in the sense that now you've extended the material to accommodate your foot, but it doesn't really show this ring on there. So I would use that for people that have really severe bunions, you know, severe areas that this little metal plug isn't gonna do for you. So let's move on. Another one that I like to use that I also put on that list is a shoe stretcher. So you remember we got the angle, right? So we want to find the right angle of shoe stretcher, and I think this one will probably do. Might be a little big. Let's see. Let's find a smaller one. Here we go. So see that? I'm thinking this might be a really good choice. And in the Amazon shopping selection, I put the pink one on there. I also have a more luxury metal one, but it's this long, it's meant to go, and see it has this hitch. So this will actually get inside of a boot, and we're gonna use it on her shoes. So this gal has had these shoes for a very long time and decided to go through her closets and clean out her closet, and she realized when she put these back on again that they were just too tight. So we are gonna help her out with that. Okay, so I've got it pushed right up into the top there. And this is nice. And let's say that you've got like a tall cowboy boot. This is the same idea that you're gonna use on that tall cowboy boot, okay? So I can see on the front as I stretch that it is starting to make that indent, the stretching where I need it, right here at the outside of her foot, and then also on her bunion. So I'm gonna give that a bit more because I know she's a local gal and her feet are probably stretched a lot, so spread a lot. Okay, there we have it. Now, let's say that I want to get a little extra stretch out of it. If you're using a material like a leather, okay, then I would use the shoe stretch. So I've included that. Money's Worth and Best is a really great product. I've carried it for years. I use their shoe cream, their polish, all kinds of stuff on my master shopping page on Amazon. So you can find that there. But anyway, Money's Worth. And what I like to do, I had 2 ideas for you. When I'm here at the store and I'm doing a light stretch like this, it's a pretty fine leather. And then what I'll do is I'll put the shoe stretch inside a squirt bottle and just, you know, squirt her shoe, which I don't need to do on this one. She's not going to need it. But that's where this comes in. It's something that's really, really hard to stretch. And taking that to the next level, if you've got something that's really, maybe a really thick leather, like a men's boot. I think I have a sample. Hold on. Okay, this is a boot that I'm going to be repairing for this client, but it's a really thick leather. Okay, you can imagine it's a work boot, so it's meant to handle some really tough work, but it's also a little harder to stretch. So what I'll do is like on something like this, it's short enough, I'll slide it onto my wonderful stretcher here, and then I take the shoe stretch with a little bit of water, and I don't have them here right now, but I just take some wash rags from the house, or you know, from my rag pile that are clean, and I'll wet them and I'll lie them over the shoe. So the key to this, and I tell you guys this because it is advanced, but some of you are really going to need this extra level of help with stretching the shoe. So I would soak that rag, make it really, really wet, not quite dripping, but pretty close. And then lie it on top of the area that I'm stretching, okay? And that will soak in, and it makes that leather more stretchy. Then I, of course, put my shoe stretcher in and stretch it, and I let it dry like that. If you are doing that for a finer item, like something like this brown boot here, I would wet the entire boot, because what happens is the water will leave a watermark where if it didn't get the whole thing wet. Like when I clean a shoe, I'll clean the entire thing all at once, so it's all wet at once and it won't leave a watermark. So that's what I would do, and just want to keep that in mind because it does make a difference. So if I have a client that I want to do that to, I clarified, hey, if it leaves a watermark, does that work? Is that still okay for you, or do you want me to do the whole boot? Some guys are like, oh, I've got dust and concrete mix on them. That doesn't matter. Just stretch it for me. So I'll let you use your judgment on that. But either way, the money's worth is really great. It just happens to let the leather stretch a little bit more than just pure water. So there we go. Those are really good ones. And the other one for you that I remembered was so important. Let me just go over that and make sure. We've got the shoe stretch. You've got the boot stretcher, the long stretchers. Those are really good. Okay, so we wet the shoe. I had a client ask and say, well, once you wet it, can you stretch it in the sun? And I do not use ultraviolet or sunshine for any repair on my products. If I clean somebody's shoe, or let's say like I put the shoe stretch on, it actually can shrink the leather if you put it in direct sunlight. So I usually say keep it in a well ventilated area, let it get some air until it dries. I do all this work indoors here with an AC that's pretty dry, so it dries the shoes just fine. And anyway, so that was a really big one for you guys. Do not dry the shoe in the sun. I am doing another video that's all about sanitizing. They have some really great sanitizing products as far as like ultraviolet lights and things, but it's a whole video. And if you're curious about that, removing smell from your shoes, just sanitizing in this day and age, it's always a good thing, and they're so affordable. So keep an eye out for that. I'll do a live video for that as well. Okay, let's make sure I've got you guys totally covered. We did the width stretching, we did the length stretching, we did some bunions, we did the ring and hook. This guy's awesome. And let's see what else. So I think that pretty much covers everything. What other questions do I get? How big can you stretch the shoe? Lengthwise, again, depending on the materials, you can sometimes get 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. That is not a full half size. I mean, this is all based on how much the material of your shoe will stretch. So keep that in mind. Be very careful when you're using the heat on your fabric shoes. And I think that's pretty much it for now that I can think of. I did this great video on my YouTube channel called How to Stretch Shoes from Home, and it does cover all of it. I remember the one. This is something that people have a challenge with, and that is this area right here. That's called the instep. And some people just have a really high instep and can't get it like inside their boot. They can't slip their boot on. So we can stretch that for you. One of the things I do as a professional cobbler is I can install zippers. So it helps, the guys get zipper down, put their big foot in, zipper back up. It just changes everything. So you can go to a cobbler for that. The other one about the bunion, I've had some people that the bunion is so severe that it's, no matter what stretching, it's just really not going to work. So I actually cut a hole around where the bunion is, and I put a leather patch on top of that and stitch it on so it gives them room. I've had a lot of gals that, let's say, work at a hospital and they wear the clog, and the side of their toes, the outsides of their pinky toes, just protrude on those clogs, and they ache and they're hurting by the end of the day. So I've actually done the same with those. Cut out the side, put a patch on it, and most cobblers will do that for you. I don't know what they would charge you for it, but it's very reasonable. If it's your work shoe, I'd say consider that if these tools aren't working for you. But there is a tool that helps with your instep. See? That's pretty cool. And it's on the Amazon shopping list, But it's the same idea. You set it inside the shoe and just simply twist. And what happens is this part opens up right here. So it stretches your instep right here, okay? I've had people ask, can you stretch an UGG? And not really. Even though the UGG is actually suede, most UGGs have a seam right around the instep, and you can't really stretch thread. You know, thread just doesn't have any elasticity to it, so you can't really do that. But you can install a zipper, so that's a thought to you. And I guess that pretty much does it. Just, you know, keep in mind, there are so many people out there with the same problem that you've got. I have done a very thorough search on Amazon, and I feel like these products that they're offering are great. I mean, I'm so surprised at how affordable they are, and they're accessible to the everyday person. You don't have to be a master shoe cobbler. But now you have the skills of a master shoe cobbler to know what to do to take you to solve that problem. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you ever want to reach me, I have terryedmonds.com is my website. I have my Amazon shopping cart, which has other categories. This one's just for shoe stretching, but I do cover all kinds of products that I do in my shoe repair business. So YouTubers, thanks for joining me. Amazon, thanks for joining me and making this opportunity available to me and to you. I love sharing the information, and anyway, I feel you guys, so thank you. And as I usually say from Maui, aloha.